Day to celebrate Patriot Day and remember those who have lost their lives in a heroic act of patriotism and a selfless act of family giving, from going and digging at the World Trade Center and then following that pile to a landfill to get the remnants of their families and bring them home. My name is Joe Napier. I'm the fire chief at Valley Center Fire Protection District, and on behalf of the Fire Protection District Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you today and tell you how much we appreciate you being a part of our community here today. 16 years ago, in the early morning hours on the West Coast, two jet airliners who were flown by terrorists flew into the World Trade Center, Twin Towers, and 343 public servants, firefighters, police, harbor patrol, filed into those buildings, not knowing their fate, but knowing that they were going to make a difference in people's lives to get those people out of those buildings, and made the ultimate sacrifice and perished as those towers came down. It was a significant loss to the fire service. It was a significant loss to the New York Fire Department. And every year on September 11th, we celebrate their memory, and we call it Patriot Day, and we hope that someday it will be a national holiday. We also celebrate those heroes who were on the airliners, flying wherever their families were, who terrorists took over the helm of those airships, one flying into the Pentagon, and then one flying into a meadow in Pennsylvania. And we believe that the people on that aircraft took control and prevented a larger loss of life from that aircraft potentially going and flying into the White House. That's what we truly believe, that those heroes on that aircraft caused that airliner to fly into that meadow rather than into the White House. And so we celebrate their memory as heroes as well. I can't thank our public safety partners enough. The San Pasqual Reservation Fire Department, Rincon, our CAL FIRE partners. We have partners here from Palomar Community College. The paramedic program are here as we continue that partnership and mentorship as they come and work for us someday as firefighter paramedics. We celebrate that too. We celebrate community members from our water district, community members from our Chamber of Commerce, and I can't tell you how proud I am of our community coming together on a day like today. With that, we'll go ahead and start our celebration, and I'll turn it over to Division Chief Greg Funderburk.
All uniformed personnel, attention! Present arms! Detail! Forward march!
Please rise for the presentation of our national colors.
Detail! Halt! Left face! Prepare to post colors! Post! Recover! Attention! Present arms!
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing.
Order! Arms! Detail! Right face! Forward march!
Please remain standing for our invocation by the Reverend Monsignor Roger Lechner.
Lord God, you have raised us up to be a free people. Today, we remember those who have given their lives for us to be free, and we stand on their shoulders. They were our firemen and women, police, all first responders. On this day, 9/11, many gave their lives trying to save thousands of others who were also born to be free or yet to be born but were denied freedom by actions of those who were not free. In their names, today as we remember, we who have benefited from their sacrifices and lives dedicated to helping others to also be as strong as they were. Let us learn to be for our descendants an inspiration to be as strong and loving of freedom as they were. Teach us how to truly free all people by our actions of love for you. Bless all who live here in Valley Center with appreciation and respect and love for those who continue the cause of first responders. Amen.
You may be seated. When a firefighter is called home, we celebrate that by the ringing of the bell to call for the end of the shift and to send that firefighter home to his maker in a way that's beyond measure. We will read the names of all who perished on 9/11. We will also read the names of those who perished, the nearly 600 who perished from digging in the pile and digging at the landfill to bring their families home. I encourage you to go ahead and step in line if you're so inclined and read the names. At the end of each list of names, we will ring the bell and send them home. Once again, thank you for your participation today. At the end of the ceremony, we invite you for hosted refreshments, and I'll say some closing remarks. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Michael O'Connor. I'm a retired firefighter at Escondido, also newly elected to the fire board here in Valley Center. And I want to thank Chief Napier and all the firefighters and Pete Ordilli for bringing new firefighters that are going to become firefighters or paramedics to read the names of the fallen of that day. I'm going to pass a cross out that people can hold and touch today. It's a cross that was given to me after I went back after 9/11. I grew up in New York City. As a young lad, I watched those towers get built from my bedroom window in Rockaway. And I watched them from early 70s to 1975 when they opened, and then I went into the service and came to California. On that day that it happened, my wife woke me up. I was just newly back from New York after visiting with my family, and we went to the top of the towers, and she says, "Get up and look on the TV." And it was just before my shift going into Escondido, and I got up and I was horrified, just like everybody else, of what was happening that day to our country. And as the evening came by, I started recognizing communities where I grew up, names of firefighters that have perished on that day, and police officers, and trying to get to the victims. And then thinking of all the airliners that crashed into those buildings on what happened on that terrible day. It broke my heart, and it broke a lot of other people's heart. But it raised our spirit. And within that spirit, we remember the families on that day. Because every day it's like picking a sore of a wound of what happened, as it refuses to heal. And it does heal, but we as Americans can never forget, and we need to teach our children. There's children here that weren't born yet, or that were just young, and now we have to pass the torch to remember that day, to honor the families, because every day, the weeks go by that not another firefighter that worked on that pile perished on that day due to cancer illnesses, and so it continues to happen. And we as Americans, as human beings, need to honor the families, and so I appreciate everybody coming out here today to read the names. And we'll get started now, and thank you so much.
Chief of Department, Peter Gansey Jr. Deputy Commissioner, William Feehan. Fire Marshal, Ronald Buca. Chaplain, Michael Judge. Command Center, Assistant Chief Gerard Barbara. Assistant Chief Donald Burns.
From Special Operations, Special Operations Battalion Chief Raymond Downey, Captain Michael Russo, Captain Patrick Waters, Lieutenant Timothy Higgins, Division 1, Captain Joseph Fairley, Captain Thomas Moody, Division 11, Captain Timothy Stackpole, Division 15, Captain Martin Egan Jr., Captain Thomas Haskell Jr., Captain William O'Keefe.
Battalion SOC, Battalion Chief Charles Casper, Battalion 1, Battalion Chief Matthew Ryan, Lieutenant Paul Mitchell, Battalion 2, Battalion Chief William McGovern, Battalion Chief Richard Prunty, Battalion 4, Lieutenant Thomas O'Hagan, Battalion 6, Battalion Chief John Williamson.
From Battalion 7, Battalion Chief Oreo Palmer, Lieutenant Stephen Harrell, Lieutenant Philliam Petty, Firefighter Stephen Belson, Battalion 8, Battalion Chief Thomas DeAngelis, Firefighter Thomas McCann, Battalion 9, Battalion Chief Dennis Devlin, Battalion Chief Edward Garrity, Lieutenant Charles Garbarini, Firefighter Carl Asaro, Firefighter Alan Feinberg.
Battalion 11, Battalion Chief John Palio, Battalion 12, Battalion Chief Joseph Marchbanks Jr., Battalion Chief Fred Sheffield, Lieutenant Glenn Perry, Battalion 13, Lieutenant Brian Ahern, Battalion 22, Lieutenant Charles Margiotta, Battalion 33, Lieutenant Kenneth Fallon, Battalion 43, Lieutenant Jeffrey Guha.
Battalion 47, Lieutenant Anthony Jovic, Battalion 48, Battalion Chief Joseph Grislak, Firefighter Michael Buccino, Battalion 49, Battalion Chief John Moran, Battalion 50, Battalion Chief Lawrence Stack, Battalion 57, Battalion Chief Dennis Cross, Safety Battalion, Firefighter Robert Crawford.
Engine 1, Lieutenant Andrew Desperto, Firefighter Michael Wainberg. Engine 4, Firefighter Castillo Anya Jr., Firefighter Michael Brennan, Firefighter James Riches, Firefighter Thomas Scholes, Firefighter Tegminer. Engine 5, Manuel Deval.
Engine 6, Firefighter Paul Bayer, Firefighter Thomas Holohan, Firefighter William Johnston. Engine 8, Robert Haro. Engine 10, Lieutenant Greg Atlas, Firefighter Jeffrey Olson, Firefighter Paul Pancini. Engine 21, Captain William Burke Jr.
Engine 22, Firefighter Thomas Casuria, Firefighter Michael Elfris, Firefighter Vincent Kane, Firefighter Martin McWilliams. Engine 23, Lieutenant Paul Martini, Firefighter John Marshall, Firefighter Robert McPadden, Firefighter James Papa George, Firefighter Hector Torrado Jr., Firefighter Mark Whitford.
Engine 26, Captain Thomas Farino, Firefighter Dana Hannon, Firefighter Robert Spear Jr. Engine 33, Lieutenant Kevin Pfeiffer, Firefighter David Arce, Firefighter Michael Boyle, Firefighter Robert Evans, Firefighter Robert King Jr., Firefighter Keith Roy Maynard.
Engine 40, Lieutenant John Ginley, Firefighter Kevin Bracken, Firefighter Michael D. Aria, Firefighter Bruce Gary, Firefighter Michael Lynch, Firefighter Steve McCardo, Engine 54, Firefighter Paul Gill, Firefighter Jose Guadalupe, Firefighter Leonard Regaglia, Firefighter Christopher Santora.
Engine 55, Lieutenant Peter Fround, Firefighter Robert Lane, Firefighter Christopher Mazzio, Firefighter Stephen Russell. Engine 58, Lieutenant Robert Nagel. Engine 74, Firefighter Ruben Carrera. Engine 201, Firefighter Greg Buck, Firefighter Christopher Pickford, Firefighter John Sharp.
Engine 205, Lieutenant Robert Wallace. Engine 207, Firefighter Carl Joseph. Firefighter Sean Powell. Firefighter Kevin Riley. Engine 214, Firefighter Carl Bettigan. Firefighter John Florio. Firefighter Michael Roberts. Firefighter Kenneth Watson.
Engine 216, Firefighter Daniel Sir. Engine 217, Firefighter Stephen Copley. Firefighter Neil Levy. Engine 219, Firefighter John Chipperup. Engine 226, Firefighter David DeRubio. Firefighter Brian Michelassi. Firefighter Stanley Smagala Jr.
Engine 230, Firefighter Frank Bonmo. Firefighter Michael Carlo. Firefighter Jeffrey Stark. Firefighter Eugene Whelan. Firefighter Edward White. Engine 235, Lieutenant Stephen Bates. Firefighter Nicholas Chiafalo. Firefighter Francis Esposito. Firefighter Lee Feeling. Firefighter Lawrence Bailey.
Engine 238, Lieutenant Glenn Wilkinson. Engine 279, Firefighter Ronnie Henderson. Firefighter Michael Ragusa. Firefighter Anthony Rodriguez. Engine 285, Firefighter Raymond York. Ladder 2, Captain Frederick Ill Jr. Firefighter Michael Clark. Firefighter George DePascal.
Ladder 2 continued. Firefighter Dennis Germain. Firefighter Daniel Harlan. Firefighter Cole Malerno. Firefighter Dennis Mulligan. Ladder 3, Captain Patrick Brown. Lieutenant Kevin Donnelly. Firefighter Michael Carroll. Firefighter James Coyle. Firefighter Gerald Dewan. Firefighter Jeffrey Giordano. Firefighter Joseph Maloney.
Ladder 3 continued. Firefighter John McAvoy. Firefighter Timothy McSweeney. Firefighter Joseph Ogren. Firefighter Stephen Olson. Ladder 4. Captain David Woolley. Lieutenant Daniel O'Callaghan. Firefighter Joseph Angelini Jr. Fire Michael Brennan. Firefighter Michael Haub. Firefighter Michael Lynch. Firefighter Samuel Otis. Firefighter John Tipping II. From Ladder 5, Lieutenant Vincent Giomona, Lieutenant Michael Warchola, Firefighter Louis Arena, Firefighter Andrew Brunn, Firefighter Thomas Hannafin, Firefighter Paul Keating, Firefighter John Santori, Firefighter Gregory Saucedo.
Ladder 7, Lieutenant Vernon Richard, Firefighter George Kane, Firefighter Robert Forti, Firefighter Charles Mendez, Firefighter Richard Holt Downey Jr., Firefighter Vincent Parado. Ladder 8, Lieutenant Vincent Holloran. Ladder 9, Firefighter George Baptiste, Firefighter John Tierney, Firefighter Jeffrey Walls.
Ladder 10, Firefighter Sean Talon. Ladder 11, Lieutenant Michael Quilty. Firefighter Michael Camarda. Firefighter Edward Day. Firefighter John Heffron. Firefighter Richard Kelly Jr. Firefighter Matthew Rogan. Ladder 12, Firefighter Angel Orbe Jr. Firefighter Michael Mullen.
Ladder 13, Captain Walter Haynes, Firefighter Thomas Hetzel, Firefighter Dennis McHugh, Firefighter Thomas Sabella, Firefighter Gregory Stack. Ladder 15, Lieutenant Joseph Levy, Firefighter Richard Allen, Firefighter Arthur Berry, Firefighter Thomas R. Kelly, Firefighter Scott Kapitko, Firefighter Scott Larson, Firefighter Douglas Wolschlager, Firefighter Eric Olson.
Ladder 16, Lieutenant Raymond Murphy, Firefighter Robert Kulololo, Ladder 20, Lieutenant John Fisher, Firefighter John Burnside, Firefighter James Gray, Firefighter Sean Hansley, Firefighter David LaFleur, Firefighter Robert Luan, Firefighter Robert McMahon.
Ladder 21, Lieutenant Michael Fordo, Firefighter Gerald Atwood, Firefighter Gerard Duffy, Firefighter Keith Glasgow, Firefighter Joseph Henry, Firefighter William Perkowski, Firefighter Benjamin Soares. Ladder 24, Captain Daniel Brathel.
Ladder 25, Firefighter Matthew Barnes, Firefighter John Collins, Firefighter Kenneth Kumple, Firefighter Robert Minara, Firefighter Joseph Pavelli, Firefighter Paul Rubach. From Ladder 35, Firefighter Frank Callahan, Firefighter James Giberson, Firefighter Vincent Morello, Firefighter Michael Otten, Firefighter Michael E. Roberts.
Ladder 42, Firefighter Peter Beelfield. Ladder 101, Lieutenant Joseph Gullickson. Firefighter Patrick Brine. Firefighter Salvatore Calabro. Firefighter Brian Canizaro. Firefighter Thomas Kennedy. Firefighter Joseph Maffio. Firefighter Terrence McShane.
Ladder 105, Captain Vincent Brunton, Firefighter Thomas W. Kelly, Firefighter Henry Miller Jr., Firefighter Dennis O'Berg, Firefighter Frank Palumbo. Ladder 111, Lieutenant Christopher Sullivan. Ladder 118, Lieutenant Robert Reagan. Firefighter Joseph Agnelio. Firefighter Vernon Cherry. Firefighter Scott Davidson. Firefighter Leon Smith Jr. Firefighter Peter Vega.
Rescue 2, Firefighter Daniel Libretti, Firefighter William Lake, Firefighter Peter Martin, Firefighter John Napolitano, Firefighter Kevin O'Rourke, Firefighter Lincoln Quape, Firefighter Edward Rawl.
Rescue 1, Captain Terrence Hatton, Lieutenant Dency Mojica, Firefighter Joseph Angelini, Firefighter Gary Guidel, Firefighter William Henry, Firefighter Kenneth Marino, Firefighter Michael Montesi, Firefighter Gerard Nevins, Firefighter Patrick O'Keefe, Firefighter Brian Sweeney, and Firefighter David Weiss.
Ladder 131, Firefighter Christian Rigonard. Ladder 132, Firefighter Andrew Jordan. Firefighter Michael Kiefer, Firefighter Thomas Mingione, Firefighter John Vigiano, Firefighter Sergio Villanueva. Ladder 136, Firefighter Michael Colley.
Squad 252, Firefighter Terrell Coleman, Firefighter Thomas Kuvikis, Firefighter Peter Langone, Firefighter Patrick Lyons, Firefighter Kevin Fryer. Squad 288, Lieutenant Ronald Kerwin, Firefighter Ronnie Geese, Firefighter Joseph Hunter, Firefighter Jonathan Elepi, Firefighter Adam Rand, Firefighter Timothy Welty.
Firefighter Edward Riley Jr., Firefighter John McNamara, Lieutenant Tommy Roberts, who is actually a good friend of ours, Captain Kevin Cassidy, Firefighter Joan Daly, Fireman Richard Manetta, Lieutenant Peter Fahrenkopf, Marine 6, Battalion Chief John Vaughn, and Firefighter Robert Ford.
Police Officer Paul W. Jurgen, Police Officer Paul Lazixi, Police Officer David Lemaine, Police Officer John Lennon, Police Officer George Howard, Police Officer Uhuru Houston.
Police Officer John Scala, Police Officer Walwyn Stewart, Police Officer Kenneth Kitchen, Police Officer Nathaniel Webb, Police Officer Michael Woolley, Canine Officer Sirius, Police Officer Steve Hutzik.
Squad 41, Lieutenant Michael Healy, Firefighter Thomas Cullen III, Firefighter Robert Hamilton, Firefighter Michael Lyons, Firefighter Gregory Sikorsky, Firefighter Richard Van Hine.
Rescue 3, Firefighter Christopher Blackwell, Firefighter Thomas Foley, Firefighter Thomas Gambino Jr., Firefighter Raymond Meisenheimer, Firefighter Donald Reagan, Firefighter Gerard Schrang, and Firefighter Joseph Spohr.
Police Officer Thomas E. Gorman. Police Officer Greg Froner. Police Officer Donald Foreman. Police Officer Clint Davis. Police Officer Liam Callahan. Police Officer Maurice Berry. Police Officer Christopher Amoroso.
Rescue 4, Captain Brian Hickey, Lieutenant Kevin Dowd, Firefighter Peter Brennan, Firefighter Terrence Farrell, Firefighter William Mahoney, Firefighter Peter Nelson, Firefighter Darrell Casale.
Flight Crew, United Airlines Flight 175. Pilot, Michael Horrocks. Pilot, Victor Saraceni. Flight Attendant, Alicia Titus. Flight Attendant, Michael Taru. Flight Attendant, Robert Fangman. Flight Attendant, Amy Jarrett. Flight Attendant, Amy King. Customer Service, Marianne McFarland. Flight Attendant, Alfred Giles Joseph Marchant.
Police Officer Vincent Dans, Police Officer Glenn Petit, Sergeant John Coughlin, Police Officer Stephen Driscoll, Police Officer Santos Valentine, Police Officer Ronald Klopfer.
Flight 175, Alicia Nicole Titus of San Francisco, Tori Balorci of Beverly Hills, Daniel Brandhorst of Los Angeles, David Brandhorst of Los Angeles, Ronald Gamboa of Los Angeles, Dorothy Alma Devaraja of Long Beach, Lisa Ann Frost of Rancho Santa Margarita, Gerald F. Hardacre of Carlsbad, Maclo Joe Lopez Jr. of Norwalk, Maria Papalardo of Paramount, Timothy Ward of San Diego.
Rescue 5, Captain Louis Modafferi, Lieutenant Harvey Harrell, Firefighter John Bergen, Firefighter Carl Beanie, Firefighter Michael Fiore, Firefighter Andrew Fletcher, Firefighter Douglas Miller, Firefighter Jeffrey Palazzo, Firefighter Nicholas Rosamondo, Firefighter Alan Tarasiewski,
Flight crew, American Airlines Flight 11. Pilot Thomas F. McGinnis. Pilot John Owoski. Flight Attendant Jeffrey Dwayne Solomon. Flight Attendant Barbara Jean Aristotle. Flight Attendant Sarah Elizabeth Lowe. Flight Attendant Karen Martin. Flight Attendant Jean DeStalman. Roger. Customer Service Renee Lucille Newell.
Flight crew, United Airlines Flight 93. Jason Dahl, pilot. Leroy Homer, pilot. Deborah A. Welsh, flight attendant. Sandra W. Bradshaw, flight attendant. Wanda Anita Green, flight attendant. C.C. Lyles, flight attendant. Lorraine Grace Bay, senior flight attendant.
United States Military, Major Richard Gannon II, Escondido, Lance Corporal Jesus Suarez del Solar, Escondido, Sergeant Cody R. Legg, Escondido, James L. Beckstrand, Escondido, Army Staff Sergeant Jorge Pena Romero of Fallbrook, Army Sergeant Stephen Saxton, Temecula, Army Glenn Watkins of Carlsbad, Army Specialist Wade Michael Twyman of Vista, Marine Lance Corporal Murad Rajimov of San Diego, Christian Engeldrum, FDNY, Bronx, Marine Sergeant Rafael Horaita, San Diego.
Police Officer John Levi. Police Officer James Lynch. Police Officer Donald McIntyre. Police Officer Walter McNeil. Police Officer Joseph Navas. Police Officer James Nelson.
The following died from working the pile: firefighter Van Cleve Johnson, EMT James Kay, EMT Daniel Stewart, fireman Gary Celentani, firefighter Russell Brinkworth, fireman Walter Voigt, fireman Robert Dillon, fireman Edward Tietjen, EMT Felix Hernandez, battalion commander Kevin Burns, fireman Stephen Johnson, fireman Gerald Harrington, EMT Timothy Keller.
Marine Lance Corporal Corey Ryan Gurin of Santee, Army Private Devon D. Jones, San Diego, Marine Lance Corporal Jason William Moore of San Marcos,
Army Private Daniel R. Parker, Lake Elsinore, Marine Corporal Randall Kent Rosacker of San Diego, and Marine Lance Corporal Jesus A. Suarez del Solar of Escondido.
American Airlines Flight 11, Panyala Vamsi Christina of Los Angeles, John Joseph Winkus, tourists, Thomas F. McGinnis Jr., Fallbrook, David Angel, Pasadena, Lynn Angel, Pasadena, Celora Oyama, Culver City of Escondido, Carolyn Bogue, Santa Monica, Jeffrey Dwayne Coleman, Novato, Andrew Peter Charles Curry, Green, Santa Monica, John Hofer, Bellflower, Barbara Keating, Palm Springs, Daniel John Lee, Van Nuys, Thomas Nicholas Pecorelli, Topanga. Barry Berenson Perkins, Los Angeles.
Sergeant Rodney Gillis, Police Officer Paul Talty, Police Officer Thomas Langones, Police Officer Ramon Suarez, Police Officer Mark Ellis, Police Officer Moira Smith.
American Airlines Flight 77, Charles Chick Burlingame, pilot, David Charlenbois, pilot, Michelle Heidenberger, flight attendant, Jennifer Lewis, flight attendant, Renee May, flight attendant.
Police Officer Robert Fazio, Police Officer James Leahy, Police Officer John Perry, Sergeant Timothy Roy, Police Officer Claude Richards.
Flight 77, Yanene Bitro of Burbank, Susan Kelly of San Martin, Stanley Hall of Rancho Palos Verdes, Chandler Keller of El Segundo, Ruben Ornedo of Los Angeles, Robert Penninger of Poway, Marie Ray Sopper of Santa Barbara, Christopher Newton, Anaheim, and Dora Minchon of Santa Monica.
Police Officer Brian McDonald, Sergeant Michael Curtin, Police Officer John D. Alara, Detective Joseph Vigiano, Jerome Dominguez, Police Officer Walter Weaver.
Fireman Anthony J. Nuco, off ladder 175. Fire Marshal Stephen C. Mosiello, Officer of Chief of Department. Fireman Carl Cabaccio, off ladder 87. Captain Emilio R. Rongo, off ladder 110. Fireman Raymond Ragucci, off engine 5. Division Chief William C. Guido, Head of Marine Division. Captain Sheldon Barcoas, Engine 251. Firefighter Virginia Colin Spiely, off Engine 329.
From Squad 1, Captain James Amato, Lieutenant Edward Daughtry, Lieutenant Michael Esposito, Firefighter Brian Bilcher, Firefighter Gary Box, Firefighter Thomas Butler, Firefighter Peter Carroll, Firefighter Robert Cordes, Firefighter David Fontana, Firefighter Matthew Garvey, and Firefighter Stephen Siller.
Battalion Chief John K. Corcoran, Fireman Andrew Dal Cortivo, Lieutenant Martin Fulham, Fireman Chuck Jones, Battalion Chief Richard Arazosa, Fire Marshal MLK Harnischfeger, EMT Ronald Coyne, Fireman Robert V. Koth, Captain Peter J. Casey.
Marine Lance Corporal Derek L. Gardner of San Juan Capistrano. Marine Private First Class Fernando B. Hannon of Wildemar. Army Sergeant Brud J. Conkright, of Spring Valley. Army Specialist Ramon C. Ojeda of Ramona. Army Specialist James L. Beckstrand of Escondido. Marine First Lieutenant Oscar Jimenez of San Diego. Marine Lance Corporal Marcus M. Cherry of Imperial.
Fireman James H. Stein, Engine 35. Fireman Keith Atlas, Engine 35. Fireman Luis Pepe Fargoso, Ladder 53. EMS Captain William Olson, EMS Division 5. Lieutenant Steve Reisman, Engine 307. Lieutenant Keith Laughlin, and Ladder 109. Lieutenant Jack Grimace, Engine 302. Lieutenant Howard Howie Bishkoff, Ladder 149. Fireman Dan Hegland, Rescue 4.
Army Specialist Eric V. Ramirez of San Diego. Army Specialist Patrick S. Tainish of Oceanside. Army Specialist Leo A. Mir Sandoval of San Clemente. Army Specialist Jason K. Chappell of Hemet. Navy Lieutenant Thomas Mulep of Adams of La Mesa. Sergeant Richard A. Sukenka of Oceanside. Marine Major Richard J. Gannon II of Escondido.
Fireman John L. Sullivan, Ladder 34. Fireman Roy Chelson, Engine 28. Fireman William Quick, Ladder 134. Lieutenant Andrew Borghesi, Engine 326. Fireman John O'Neill, Ladder 52. Fireman Willie Franklin, Engine 65. Lieutenant Randy Wibecki, Ladder 1. Fireman Brian Malloy, Ladder 80. Fireman John Garcia, Ladder 5.
From Squad 18, Lieutenant William McGinn, Firefighter Eric Allen, Firefighter Andrew Fredericks, Firefighter David Halderman, Firefighter Timothy Haskell, Firefighter Manuel Mojica, Firefighter Lawrence Virgilio.
Lieutenant Joseph Kalaluri. Agent 324. Fireman Michael Shaggy. Agent 74. Fireman William St. George. Fireman Ray Hauber. Engine 284. Fireman Marshal Tom Driscoll. Battalion Chief Jerry Howe. Fireman William Monroe. Engine 166. Lieutenant John Murray. Engine 165. Fireman Sean McCarthy. Engine 280.
Pentagon, Melissa Rose Barnes. Lieutenant Dean Matson. Lieutenant Commander Otis Vincent. Twin Towers, Juan Pablo Alvarez. Christian Hans Rudolph Wemmers.
Fireman Bruce Foss, Ladder 108. Fireman Martin Simmons, Ladder 111. Fireman Jack Spalter, Engine 50. Fireman Kevin Delano, Ladder 142. Fireman Mike LaRosa, Squad 252. Lieutenant Jimmy Tancred, Ladder 447. Fireman Robert Borchering, Ladder 160. Paramedic Clyde Sheely, Fireman Timothy G. Lockwood, Engine 275.
From Tactical Support Unit 1, Firefighter Joseph Mascali. Paramedics Carlos Lilo and Ricardo Quinn. From Hazardous Materials Unit 1, Battalion Chief John Fanning, Lieutenant John Crishy, Firefighter Dennis Carey, Firefighter Martin DeMeo, Firefighter Thomas Gardner, Firefighter John Giordano, Firefighter Jonathan Holman, Firefighter Dennis Scauzo, Firefighter Kevin Smith.
Paramedic Kareem Brown, EMS Bureau of Training. Fireman James Ryan, ladder 167. Lieutenant Robert M. Hess, ladder 76. Paramedic Paula Rodriguez, EMT. Freddie Rosario, EMS Station 4. Lieutenant Harry Wanamaker Jr., Marine 1. Supervisor Communications Electrician Philip J. Berger. Outside Plant Operations. And Fireman Vincent Albanese, ladder 38. And Fireman Billy Chapia. Thank you.
Fireman Joseph A. Morstadt, ladder 45, March 5th, 2016. Lieutenant Robert G. Alford, engine 231, March 27, 2016. Retired Fireman William Woodland, engine 21, August 30th, 2016.
Fireman Robert Lever, Division 3. Fireman Cornell Horn, ladder 176. EMS Lieutenant Tommy Giamarino. Fireman Ralph Gaidiel, Rescue 1. Fireman Patrick Finnegan, Engine 69. Fireman Gerald Walsh, ladder 126. Fireman Eugene McCary, ladder 36. Fireman Richard Nogan, ladder 113. Battalion Chief John J. Cassidy, Battalion 40.
Ladder 43, Firefighter James Lanza. Engine 40, Firefighter Raymond J. Pfeiffer. Ladder 116, Lieutenant Wilhelm J. Kelly. Ladder 174, Firefighter William J. Gormley. Firefighter Michael L. Duffy. Marine 1, Marine Engineer Robert Alexander. Battalion 46, Battalion Chief Joseph D. McKeon. Engine 68, Firefighter Michael O. Hanyon.
Lieutenant Ronaldo Nazia, Field Comm Unit. EMC Anthony Ficara, EMS Station 43. Firefighter Michael F. Mungeli, Battalion 39. Firefighter Lawrence J. Sullivan, Rescue 5. Mechanic Raphael E. Scarpini, Shops. Firefighter Ronald R. Brennan, ladder 43. Firefighter Thomas J. Farrell, ladder 41. Fire Marshal Greg Morales, Bronx Base. Captain Vincent Ungaro, engine 235.
Firefighter Paul Santoro, engine 259. Firefighter John Dunn of engine 230. Firefighter William Weeks of engine 328. Firefighter Joseph O'Toole of ladder 41. Firefighter Kevin Rooney of engine 42. Firefighter Brian Masterson of Marine 9. Firefighter Robert D. Giovanni of Ladder 144. Firefighter Robert Newman of Ladder 18.
Lieutenant John J. Halpin, Ladder 21. Fireman Charles S. Stokes, Ladder 21. Fireman James J. Marshall, Ladder 78. Battalion Chief George D. Esser, Battalion 35. Captain John Gallagher, Engine 251. Captain Thomas Thompson, Engine 306. EMS Lieutenant Harold E. McNeil, Station 31.
EMS Operations DAC John McFarland. Ladder 127, Lieutenant Robert Stegmeyer. Ladder 45, Lieutenant Mark McKay. Ladder 58, Lieutenant Patrick Sullivan. Ladder 172, Fireman Michael Behet. Battalion 3, Battalion Chief Thomas Van Duran. EMT Joseph Shumo. Paramedic Ruben I. Barrios. Engine 328, Fireman Walter Torres.
Lieutenant Richard M. Burke, Engine 97. Fireman Michael Sophia, Engine 165. Fireman Joseph P. Castillo, Engine 58. Fireman William R. O'Connor, Ladder 84. Lieutenant Ronaldo Natal, Field Commander. Paramedic Deborah Reeve. Fire Marshal William Wilson Jr. Lieutenant Thomas Hodges, Engine 313. Fireman Bob Weber, Engine 262. EMS Lieutenant Brian Elliott, EMS Dispatch.
Paramedic Rudy Havelka. EMT Francis Charles. Paramedic John Watt. Firefighter Luis de Pena. Firefighter Adolfo Atano. EMS Lieutenant Michael Kavanaugh. Lieutenant Tom Greeny. Captain James Noonan.
Fireman Kevin T. Murphy, Ladder 166. Captain John R. Graziano, Ladder 78. Fireman Greg Chevalier, Ladder 176. Fireman Joseph T. Callahan, Engine 245. Battalion Chief Richard E. McGuire. EMS Lieutenant Douglas McCollin. Deputy Chief Inspector of Fire Bureau Inspection, James Mandelkow.
Lieutenant Gary J. Gates, Field Comm Unit. Fireman Dennis J. Heedles, Engine 151. Fireman Nicholas J. Damazzi, Engine 259. Fireman Frank De Fatano, Engine 155. Battalion Chief James N. Castillo, Battalion 4. Fireman Michael P. Smith, Ladder 58. Fireman Thomas J. Kelly, Ladder 19.
San Diego lost 35 patriots in the war on terrorism. A total of 752 California heroes gave all. Over 4,900 lives lost in the war on terrorism since 9/11, 2001. U.S. Army Specialist Omar M. Albrecht. U.S. Army Corporal Anthony K. Bento. U.S. Army R. Sergeant Rodrigo Borjas. USMC Staff Sergeant Scott Dickinson. U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Christopher B. Donahue. U.S. Army Sergeant Alejandro Dominguez. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Richwell Doria. U.S. Army Sergeant Nicholas C. Fredesti. U.S. Army Specialist Matthew J. Hawley.
U.S. Army Specialist Josiah W. Holopeter. U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer Nicholas S. Johnson. U.S. Army Specialist Stephen M. Cowlack. U.S. Navy SEAL Lieutenant Commander Eric S. Christensen. U.S. Army Specialist Ronnie G. Medor Jr. U.S. Army Sergeant First Class David E. Metzger. U.S. Army Specialist Gregory N. Millard. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Conrad A. Mora. U.S. Army First Lieutenant Jennifer M. Moreno. U.S. Army Corporal Kenneth E. Nicosia.
Army Specialist Marcos O. Nolasco. Army Specialist Justin L. O'Donohoe. Navy SEAL First Class Petty Officer Thomas E. Retzer. Army Specialist Daniel F. Reyes. Army Specialist Trinidad Santiago. Army Private Clarence T. Spencer. Army Sergeant Camilla M. Steedley. Army Sergeant Richard A. Vaughn. Army Staff Sergeant Paul A. Velasquez. Army Staff Sergeant Jamie D. Wilson.
From the Port Authority Police Department, Police Officer Alphonse Niedermeyer, Police Officer James Parham, Police Officer Dominic Pizzolo, Police Officer Bruce Reynolds, Police Officer Antino Rodriguez, Police Officer Richard Rodriguez.
U.S. Army Lieutenant Florence B. Choey of El Cajon, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Mark A. Stetz of El Cajon, U.S. Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer Mark T. Carter of Fallbrook, Army National Guard Sergeant Mike T. Sonoda Jr. from Fallbrook, and from Hemet, U.S. Army Sergeant Brian E. Bolander, U.S. Marine Corps Corporal Michael A. Estrella, U.S. Navy Corpsman Mark A. Reitmeyer, U.S. Navy Corpsman Charles O. Sayer, U.S. Army Private First Class Kennedy F. Stanton Jr., U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer Keith Yoakum.
U.S. Army Specialist Chris F. Andrew of Poway. Marine Lance Corporal Jason D. Hill of Poway. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Jason L. Patton of Poway. U.S. Army Sergeant Joseph W. Perry of Alpine. Marine Lieutenant Colonel Mario D. Carrazzo of Carlsbad. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Casey G. Goronchiak of Carlsbad of Chula Vista, Marine Corporal Salem Bacher, U.S. Army Sergeant Michael J. Idanen, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Christopherson B. Lorenzo, U.S. Army Sergeant Michael J. Martin, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Joshua P. Matero, United States Marine Corporal Eric Hernandez Silva, U.S. Army Specialist Curtis R. Spivey, U.S. Army Specialist Charles E. Wyckoff Jr.
Rescue workers, maintenance workers employed by the World Trade Center were helping people in the tower. Mitchell Scott Wallace, Manola Court Officer, David Mark Sullins, Glendale Paramedic of Cabrini Medical Center, Mark Schwartz, City Office of Emergency Management, Amol Marino, EMT, Metro Care Ambulance Group, Thomas Edward Jurgens, Lawrence EMT, Keith George Fairbairn, EMT, New York Presbyterian Hospital, Stephen Patrick Driscoll, Lake Carmel, North Bronx Emergency Services Unit, James Corrigan, Director of Fire and Life Service, World Trade Center, Keith M. Roma, FPNY, and Fire Patrol Number 2.
From the Port Authority Police Department, Sergeant Robert Nolfers, Lieutenant Robert P. Siri Sr., Captain Kathy Massa, Police Inspector Anthony Infante, Police Chief James Romito, Director of Public Safety, Superintendent of Police Fred Maroney.
Army Sergeant James Trevor of Imperial Beach, Army Sergeant Noah M. Corte of Lake Elsinore, Marine Corporal Michael J. Palacio of Lake Elsinore, Army Specialist Damon G. LeGrand of Lakeside, Army Staff Sergeant Richard A. Burdick of National City, and the following are all from Oceanside: Marine Lance Corporal James D. Volk, Army Christopher M. Cooper, Army Private First Class Cesar Cortez, Army Sergeant David L. Herrera, Navy Commander Christopher E. Califat, Marine Major Michael D. Martino, and Army National Guard Sergeant Paul C. Neubauer.
Flight 93, Alan Bevan of Auckland, Mark K. Bingen of San Francisco, Diora Frances Burlake of San Diego, Thomas E. Burnett Jr. of San Raymond, Andrew Garcia of Porto La Valley, Lauren Grancolas of San Rafael, Richard Jerry Guadagno of Arica, and Nicole Miller of San Jose.
U.S. Army Private First Class Evan E. Morello, San Marcos. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Sean P. Fisher of Santee. United States Marine Corps Corporal Eric T. Garrott of Santee. U.S. Army Specialist Rafael Martinez Jr. of Spring Valley. U.S. Army Specialist Jeffrey D. Bison of Vista. U.S. Army Private First Class Keith M. Williams of Vista. U.S. Army Sergeant Nathan K. Bouchard of Wildemore. U.S. Army Reserve Captain Brian Scott Freeman of Temecula. U.S. Army Specialist Mary J. Jinchin of Temecula. United States Marine Corps Corporal Christopher G. Singer of Temecula. And U.S. Army Sergeant First Class David L. McDowell of Ramona.
That concludes the reading of the names. A very powerful ceremony this morning, as you all could tell. Today, I would like everyone to take a moment and think about where you were on that day. And then I want you to look forward to all of the soldiers, airmen, seamen, and Marines that are around the world keeping us safe, protecting our freedom, and honoring our flag. Every day, all day. When you see a fire apparatus drive by, smile and wave. They'll wave back. And think about them and the sacrifice that they make every day for our community, and potentially the ultimate sacrifice that they can make. When you see a black and white drive by, smile and wave. They may not wave back, but that's okay. They got their game face on, and we want that. Some special thank yous today. Chief Rodriguez, thank you very much for coming and bringing your crews here. And to the CAL FIRE crews, please pass on to Chief Meacham, Chief Nick Schuler, and Chief Cal Hendry. Thank you very much for attending today. Reverend Monsignor Roger Lechner, lifelong friend of mine, mentor, life coach, thank you for giving the invocation today. Mike McDonald, what can I say? Your beautiful apparatus, Old Glory flying all weekend. Thank you so much for supporting us in everything that we do. And Mike, thank you so much for maintaining the names of those who have fallen so that we can continue to remember them. Again, we're going to host some refreshments. Feel free to talk to firefighters and future firefighter paramedics and stick around at the fire station for a while. We have a great memorial set up with a piece of the World Trade Center that we honor every day. It's lit, so it never goes unlighted. And we have a piece of the World Trade Center that's going around in the shape of a cross. We hope you have an opportunity to hold that in your hand too. Again, my name is Joe Napier, and again, on behalf of the Valley Center Fire Protection District, thank you for attending today. I'd like to invite Tom Stinson to come up from Maureen Waldron's office. Sorry, Tom.
Thank you very much. I just have a certificate of recognition here from Marie Waldron on behalf of the State Assembly to honor every first responder, every service member who has, and their families who have given their all and given so much of their lives to defend all of us on 9/11 and since then. And also to congratulate the Valley Center Fire Protection District for holding this very solemn commemoration every year, and we hope it keeps going. So thank you very much.
I want to especially thank all the young readers that came out today from the community. That's what it's all about. So I appreciate all the young readers and the old readers and the folks that just live in the community. And a special thanks to all the firefighters that read the names of the fallen. And the reason we read the military names is because they're from our community, and they took up arms to make what was right, what happened that day in their hearts. And so their families today grieve also, because it's something that this is good for them, because it makes their sacrifice of their loved ones, makes the grieving and the loss easier. I don't know how it could ever be easy, but it eases their pain to know that the communities honor them as families, and what you're doing today and what Joe does and all the firefighters and everybody, and the special prayers that we say for the families. And God bless all of you, and thanks for coming.
Bye.